What's your name, brother?
Daniel.
Daniel. All right, good to see you again.
I believe you were in your car. Right? It was you were at a golf course, maybe.
I was like, yeah, something like that, and I remember that, and I had to, yeah.
Which was actually a great picture and a great connection. It was one of the best technical quality interviews I've done.
Oh, all right, all right.
So Anthony Anderson, thank you for joining me again today. Star of Blackish, which was back for a second season this past year, and back at the Emmys, you're nominated again for Best Actor in a Comedy, and the show is up for Best Comedy Series now, and Tracee Ellis Ross is up for Best Actress. How did you feel about that sudden surge of support in the show now in its second season?
Did you see me announcing the Emmy nominees? That should let you know how I felt about it. No, I was excited. You know, you never know how these things go. People had come up to me and said, "Man, you should have known something. You know, you were making the announcements." I was like, "That doesn't mean that my name was going to be announced, or the show was going to be announced, or Tracee was going to be announced." But it was a beautiful and a wonderful and an exciting and a surprising thing. That was genuine surprise and excitement that you saw.
And it's always tough when you have a show that could be in contention and you're also announcing the nominees. If they're going to ask you to do it, I would hope that they would have at least an inkling that you're going to get good news. But that must have been nerve-wracking up until that point.
It was, and what's crazy, I know the announcements and all of the categories are in alphabetical order. So when my name popped up on the screen, it was a sheer shock to me. Even though I knew it was alphabetical order, I didn't think it was going to pop up that soon. I didn't, there are other A's out there. So it was great. It would have been sad to be there announcing everything and walk home with no nomination. But again, exciting.
And last year, you were nominated for the show, but that was the only nomination for the show last year. So will it be an even more gratifying experience just in terms of going to the event and celebrating to be able to do so with your co-star and the entire show recognized?
Exactly. That, Tracee was there to support me last year, but we are going together as a family this year, not just as a show, as a family. And that will be one of the crowning moments of all of our careers to come home with the trophy. But we will be there as a family. We will be there supporting each other. We will be there having fun and enjoying the moment as we should.
After finishing, the first season, which got a lot of positive attention, you got the Emmy nomination. It won several other awards. Did you and the cast and crew feel a certain sense of extra confidence going into the second season? Like you were on the right track. It was really striking the right chord.
Not necessarily because of the nomination, but word of mouth on the street, and just when we're out at events or just when we're out in our everyday lives and people walk up and say, "When I see your family on screen, I see my family." That is the biggest compliment that I believe we could get, or I could get as an actor and executive producer of a show that's loosely based on things that go on in my life and my partner in this venture, Kenya Barris, and his life. Not the nomination didn't make us feel like we were on the right track. The viewing public and their response to everything that we do, that let us know that we had something really special.
The show deals with race and class in the Johnson family, and right off the back in the second season, the show opened with an episode dealing with the N-word. Was the idea for that episode and that subject something that had been brewing for a while?
Not necessarily brewing for a while, but the things that we're tackling, that we tackled second season, were things that we wanted to tackle first season, but we felt it was low-hanging fruit. We really wanted to establish these characters and establish, the show and the tone of the show, so that when we did go to these places, they didn't come out of left field. And I think we did that. We established, Andre, Rainbow and the rest of the family and the show itself, first season. So we could come out of the gate with the N-word episode, with the gun episode, with episodes dealing with police brutality and black men's health in the inner city. We teed it up first season to knock it out of the ballpark second season.
And that episode about police brutality and the protests surrounding them, Hope, it was sort of a departure from the rest of the show. It had a much more serious tone than a lot of other episodes, even though other episodes also deal with difficult, challenging subjects. What were the kind of discussions that were around striking the right tone for that particular episode?
I'll talk about the genesis of that episode and how it came to be. Kenya wrote that episode, and it was sparked by him sitting at home watching the unrest in Missouri, and his two small boys turned to him, who were maybe 5 and 7 at the time, if that, and said, "Dad, why is everybody so angry?" It forced him to have a conversation about the climate of race and police brutality and civil unrest with his young children that he didn't think he was ready to have, or knew when he wanted to have that conversation with them. And so that's how the episode came about. When do we tell our children about these things? So it didn't sit and it didn't brew, and we were, we're going to do this. What can we do? Kenya knew what he wanted to talk about. He wrote the episode, and growing up in Compton, California, Kenya grew up in Inglewood, California. We both had our experiences with the police. We both lived through civil unrest with the verdict from the Rodney King verdict. So this was something that we had lived and experienced. So when the words were on the page, we just lived that moment again on set and just had the cameras roll.
When confronting that kind of subject matter in that kind of way, did it help at that point to already have had basically a season and a half to have worked with this cast and crew, and especially developing these relationships already with your co-stars and those characters on screen?
Say that first part of the question again. I'm sorry, I was distracted by something. Say the first part.
No, just wondering, when confronting that kind of subject matter on this show, did it help to have, a year and a half of the show under your belts already to sort of have developed those relationships with the cast and crew and with the characters on screen?
Of course. Of course that helps. Anytime you spend concentrated time with one another as actors in the same environment, you get to know each other's idiosyncrasies. You get to know who's going to lead this dance and what that dance is and how to follow. The relationship that we all have on this show, but in particular, Tracy Ellis Ross and myself, is unlike any other relationship that I've had with an actor or an actress on any set that I've been on. So to be able to work at that time 36 episodes together, it only helps and it only strengthens anything, not just this episode, but any episode that we do. Every episode that we shoot on stage 4 and stage 5 at Disney only gets better and stronger. The relationships between these actors only gets that much tighter because we've been together that much longer. So yes, to answer your question, it makes every episode easier the longer that you work together.
For your Emmy nomination for Best Actor in a Comedy, you submitted the episode Hope as your sample episode to Emmy judges. What about the episode were you especially proud of in terms of your performance as an actor?
Wow. That one stands out first and foremost just because of the reaction that the episode Hope got. Our Twitter feed went up 2,500% the night that that show aired. But you know, the N-word, the gun control episode, the sex talk with my son, the episode where I forget the title, but I didn't know how to swim, and was invited to a neighbor's house, or forced myself to be invited to her swim party. Those are the ones that stand out. But I'm happy with all of the work that I've done in the 2 seasons on this show, and I believe and I hope that the work is and has only gotten better with each episode.
Now, there was another departure at the end of the season 2. In the first season, you ended with a flashback to the Harlem Renaissance, and this year you did an homage to Good Times. Where did the idea for that tribute come about?
Good Times. You know, Kenya has a love, as do I, for Norman Lear and how he changed the landscape of television. You know, in the '70s. With the subject matter that he brought to all of the shows that he created, and Kenya's formed a friendship with Mr. Lear. So we always wanted to do something like that. So we were just paying homage to him and to Good Times. We look at, you know, the things that, you know, this family was talking about and the integrity that this family had. Growing up in the Cabrini Green projects on the south side of Chicago, and the love that they had for one another. You know, we look at that show and you know, we look at what we're doing. These are the same characters. They're living for the same things, to have and to make a better life for their children than what they had. And so we felt it only fitting to pay homage to Good Times and to Norman Lear. And at the end of the first season, you know, our flashback, you know, to, you know, the Harlem Renaissance, you know, and to shoot it and make it look as if James Van Der Zee and shot this television show, and was there at the formation and the creation of this family, you know, at that era. We just wanted to do something fun, and that's what we did with both of those finale episodes.
One of the highlights of the show has been Dre's circle of coworkers who we see, you know, in each episode. And this season, Wanda Sykes came in a recurring role as Dre's boss and sort of joined that dynamic. How did she come on board for the show, and what was it like having her as part of that group?
We're fans of Wanda. You know, Dion Cole left for a little bit because he was obligated to do a show that he was doing prior to ours. And we were just looking for someone not to really fill that void that Dion left us with, but just to complement the show and just add another dimension to it. You know, bring someone else into the office that was African American, completely different perspective, a woman who was actually going to be my boss's boss. So that's, you know, a lot went into that, and you know, what better person to play that than Wanda Sykes? And we had a great time, and looking for her to come back if we can have her.
This season, you know, Jennifer Lewis, who had been playing Dre's mother, Ruby, had been recurring in season 1. She was regular in season 2, and so we got to explore more of her. How was it like getting to work even more with her this past year?
Well, to be honest, difficult. Jennifer's difficult. I can say that in all honesty. She'll probably say the same thing about me, but it's not true. No, you know, Jennifer is a force to be reckoned with. You know, comes from the theater, comes from the stage, you know, is a real broad. I didn't say she was broad, but she can be broad on occasion, but I called her a broad in the most respectful way that you can call a woman a broad. And she will agree with me. So it's nonstop fun. Roger, that was this. It's nonstop fun, and you never know what you're gonna get with Jennifer Lewis. Jennifer Lewis has made up her own language that we all understand on the Blackish set, but it's her own language. It took us a while to get it and to translate it, but we got it now. And the grunts and guttural moans that she makes, those are actually words. You may not understand what those words are, but we do.
Now, next season, speaking of theater, people with theater experience, we've got Daveed Diggs coming on board next season. He just won a Tony for Hamilton, which I hope means we get a Hamilton parody at the end of this season 3. But how much could you tell us about him coming on board and his storyline? I know he's going to play Rainbow's brother.
We're figuring that out right now. He's living in the house. And Dre doesn't take too kindly to that. Andre's character really doesn't like Bo's side of the family at all. So we're definitely going to be at odds. But let me say this about Diggs. He showed up to work the very first day at work with his Tony. Like that meant something. He's like, yeah, you've been nominated, Anthony. You've been nominated, Tracy. But do you, Fishburne had to come in with his and trump him. So that's how we put Daveed Diggs in his place.
And if you win an Emmy, I mean, I've seen these things up close. An Emmy could beat up a Tony so fast. It's so much larger and sharper. And so
my Peabody, my 2 Peabodys could jump the Tony. I ain't never seen a Tony win a fight against 2 Peabodys. I'm just saying. And my Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Award for Best Fart in Kangaroo Jack. You cannot top that.
Are there any other subjects or storylines in season 3 that are coming up that you're especially looking forward to, other than the Tony Peabody fight? Anything and everything that goes on in our lives. We're just pulling from it. There is an episode, Family Johnson Vacation. Can't tell you where we're going, but we're gonna be on vacation with the family of the Johnsons. I'm really not at liberty to say. We want everything to be a surprise, but you can, just know that with the addition of Daveed Diggs to our show, we are going to have some fun. A new baby is on the way. Who knows? The baby she may have the baby one episode, and next episode the baby's 9 years old. Who wants to deal with toddlers and Pampers? So we're trying to figure out how we're going to do that. What would be interesting is if the baby is suddenly 9 years old, but the other kids are exactly the same age.
Oh, exactly. The baby will be 9, and her older brother or his older brother and sister will be 10 and 11. So, but it's television. It's Hollywood. You can do that. It's make-believe.
Congratulations again on the show and on the Emmy nominations this year. And thank you so much for talking to me today.
Hold on. Roger, I said vodka, man. This is gin. Vodka. The other clear alcohol. I'm sorry. I did put that on mute, right? No? That wasn't on mute?
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't blame you. I'm more of a vodka person too.
Hey, thanks for having me here, man. I really do appreciate the Gold Derby for having me here as always.
All right, have a great day.
Thank you very much. You too.